Welcome back to Loud and Proud Orlando World Cup edition. With the 2026 World Cup officially here, we have to talk to you about Paraguay, a team to build minds and break hearts and definitely ruin some brackets. After a 16-year drought, La Albirroja is showing up to participate. They are a tactical nightmare. Today, we're breaking down the official 26-man roster, analyzing the recent roller coaster friendlies against Morocco and Nicaragua, giving you also the devastating latest update on Julio Enciso's injury and answering the question everyone in Orlando wants to know: what is exactly Braian Ojeda's role in this squad? Let's start with the manager. Gustavo Alfaro is arguably definitely one of the best tactical minds in CONMEBOL. He doesn't care about dominating possession, he cares about controlling the space. Alfaro's system is gritty, hyper organized, a low block that's designed to frustrate opponents before unleashing fast counterattacks. It is exactly how they stunned giants like Brazil and Argentina in the qualifying rounds. Looking at this roster, Paraguay's identity is forged at the back. Alfaro has assembled an absolute wall. You have the veteran grit of Captain Gustavo Gomez, flanked by warriors like Omar Alderete, Junior Alonso, and Fabian Balbuena. This is a backline that loves contact and rarely gets pulled out of position. They're very disciplined. Moving up the pitch, you have the midfield relies on relentless work from guys like Damian Movadilla and Diego Gomez. In the final third, it's all about explosive pace and creativity of Miguel Almiron and Julio Enciso, supported by number nines like Antonio Sanabria and Gabriel Avalos. This roster perfectly mirrors his philosophy. You have to bleed for the shirt, stay organized, and be ruthless in transition. To see this roster in action, you can definitely see it on the warm ups. On June 5th, Paraguay sent a massive statement and they thrashed Nicaragua 4-0. They completely dictated the tempo with Kaku and Almiron looking incredibly sharp. You combine that with their gritty 1-0 win over Greece back in March, and you see Paraguay's biggest strength. When they get an early lead, they will strangle the life out of the game. However, that Nicaragua match brought some absolutely devastating news for Paraguay. In the 25th minute, Julio Enciso awkwardly pulled up his muscle after collecting a pass, and he was stretched off the pitch in tears. The manager confirmed that Enciso suffered a double injury, a tight hamstring from impact combined with a blow to the waist that has affected his quadriceps. The latest report is that he's facing 2 to 3 week recovery. This means that Paraguay's most dynamic attacker, fresh of an incredible 12-goal season at Strasbourg, is expected to miss the World Cup opener against the U.S. men's national team and possibly their second match against Turkey. The current hope is for him to come in the decisive group stage games against Australia. And Ciso missing these crucial games is massive. Alfaro's entire counter-attacking system relies on Enciso's ability to stretch the field and create magic in isolation. Without him, Turkey and the United States are able to push their fullbacks higher. They don't have to fear Enciso. This injury also compounds a lot of mental lapses. Paraguay suffered a 2-1 loss to Morocco and exposed their biggest weakness. Paraguay executed their game plan decently in the first half, but coming out of the locker room, they completely fell asleep. In tournament football, Alfaro's system relies on zero mistakes. If you surrender cheap goals early in the second half, it forces you out of that low block and into a chasing game, which is not where this team really excels. And chasing the game without Enciso on the pitch, it's a huge, massive uphill battle. Now, let's talk about our guy, Braian Ojeda. For Orlando City, we know he's the engine in the pivot. Breaking lines and maintaining possession is his specialty. But what is his role for La Albirroja? While his ball retention is elite, he fears competition for starting minutes. Alfaro often prefers the pure destructive defensive profile of Andres Cubas as a primary six, while Diego Gomez is practically undroppable as a box to box disruptor. Ultimately, Ojeda is likely going to have a high value as a rotational piece. But what does Paraguay need to do to escape Group D alongside the US, Turkey, and Australia? It all comes down to the opening match on June 12th against the United States. The US men's national team historically struggles to break down disciplined, compact, low blocks, making Paraguay a nightmare for the Americans. Even without Enciso, if Paraguay can frustrate the US, absorb the pressure, and steal a point or a win, they will be in for a strong position. Follow that up with a result against Australia when Enciso hopefully returns, and pretty much Paraguay is through. Can Paraguay make a deep run? Absolutely. Tournament football rewards teams that don't leak goals. With Gustavo Gomez marshaling the back line, nobody wants to see Paraguay in a knockout format. And if they clean up those second half mental lapses and survive until Enciso gets healthy, a quarterfinal appearance is possibly realistic. Let me know down in the comments, how badly do you think Enciso's injury will hurt Paraguay against the USA? And do you think Braian Ojeda should be an undisputed starter or a rotational piece? Drop a like, hit the subscribe button for more tactical breakdowns, and keep it loud and proud. See you next one.